Welcome again to another edition of Inside Richmond Football right here on Radio Troy Digital Sports. The Red Devils on the road this week at KOKOMO, final game of the regular season. We also know now the tournament draw that came out on Sunday. The Red Devils head back to Connorsville for a rematch with the Spartans in tournament play. And before we talk about those two aspects of what's coming up, let's go back to last week. And Coach, I tell you what, I felt as bad for a football team or any other sport I've covered over the years as I did for you guys on Friday night. I know that was a tough one to lose and so close, and yet just couldn't get it done there at the end.
Yeah, it was. It was a great high school football game to be involved in. Both teams battling, both teams struggling leading into the game. Obviously, both of us 1-6, both of us wanting a win. Thought our kids gave great effort. You know, their kids just made a few more plays. Their quarterback scrambles for some big plays, throwing the ball downfield, got behind our DBs at times, and then, you know, we got the ball back, drove it down the field. Quavion Allen had a couple big runs, got us inside the 4-yard line, 1st and goal at the 4, and we couldn't punch it in there and had the unfortunate fumble on 3rd down. But can't fault the kids' effort. I thought we played extremely hard. Defensively, couldn't get pressure on their quarterback as much as we would like to. You know, and we just got to learn from it and hope to take that thought process of having a good week of practice, leading into playing better on Friday night into next week's game with KOKOMO.
You know, despite the loss, I went back and looked at some of the game highlights, and you had a lot of nice plays in there, whether it was Julian Holguin, of course, Trayshawn Jones had a big day. We mentioned on Friday after the game, your young running backs came up for you as well, right. So there were a lot of bright spots.
There were. You know, you mentioned Trayshawn. He made a bunch of big catches. Julian got us rolling with a big touchdown catch to start the game, had some nice runs for us as well. And, you know, overall, Zach threw the ball pretty well during the game. We had the freshman running back, a junior running back who hadn't played in a long time, carrying the ball. And our offensive line, running-wise, we did a decent job. We still have to clean up some things up front, some missed assignments on our zone and our power, but overall, we were able to run the ball. We just couldn't get it in. We weren't able to run it from the 4, and we have to be able to do that in big games like that. And as we told the kids on Saturday morning in the weight room that, you know, those kind of games come down to 3 to 4 plays, and, you know, how well you block on the perimeter. You know, we had a jet sweep. We didn't get a block there to get Julian in for a 2-point conversion. If 1 or 2 of those 2-point conversions go our way and we stop 1 or 2 of theirs, you know, it's a different ball game. But it is what it is. We've got to learn from it and move on to an improving KOKOMO team.
Hey, what is the team's reaction after the game? I guess it would be different Friday than it would be Saturday, but were they more upbeat on Saturday? And
yeah, I think so. Obviously, they were really upset on Saturday. But as we told them after the game, there were a lot of bright spots, as you mentioned. We need to take the positives from a good week of practice and continue to improve on those kind of things. Saturday when we came in and lifted and watched film, you know, I think their mood was a lot better on Saturday, and we tried to accentuate the positives. You know, there's always going to be constructive criticism when you're watching film of things that we can do better, but I think they took away the fact that we definitely had our chances in that game, and we just got to do a better job of finishing in the future.
2 key players did not play. One of those that, again, he was a gutsy player to play last week in Blaine Pierce because of the arm, hand situation. And then, of course, Wyatt Bird didn't play last week as well because of the head injury. So.
Right, those are 2 big spots for us. Obviously, Wyatt's a really good running back for us, has done a great job all year. He's on concussion protocol. Blaine has the hurt hand and wasn't able to go. And, you know, even someone that, you know, we forget about is Gage Pewterball, who was our backup kicker, who, you know, kicking and punting, field position's a big key to high school football. We talk about the importance of special teams all the time and winning the battle of field position. So Gage has been out. with a hurt knee, but he's cleared now and should be able to practice this week, and that'll hopefully help us going into this week's game against KOKOMO and hopefully into the tournament.
Well, I'll tell you what, you speak of the tournament, we found out on Sunday night who you're going to play. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the KOKOMO Wildcats. I mentioned to Coach right before we started today's interview that seems like you play these teams right when they keep getting better and better. It was Anderson, and now it's going to be KOKOMO. We'll talk about the Wildcats coming up next right here on Richmond Inside Football on Radio Troy Digital Sports. The Indiana Football Hall of Fame in Richmond, Indiana was founded in 1973. Its mission is to honor the men and women who have excelled in high school, college, or professional football based on their coaching, athletic ability, citizenship, scholarship, and significant supporting contributions to the game of football. The Indiana Football Hall of Fame includes retrospection from Indiana's prestigious football history, from the late 1800s to the present. When you visit the hall, you'll see the names like Weebu Bank, Vegas Ferguson, Newt Rockne, and Lamar Lundy. The Indiana Football Hall of Fame is located at 815 North A Street in Richmond and is open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 a.m. until 5 p.m. There is no entrance fee and donations are appreciated. Take time to visit Indiana football history at the Indiana Football Hall of Fame.
For the past 35 years, Van Vliet Insurance has built a reputation of bringing a personal touch. That's because at Van Vliet, it's all about you, your needs, your life, and our town. Along with providing quality coverage to individuals, families, and local businesses, we're proud of our community and the opportunity we have to protect your future within it. Van Vliet Insurance, an Erie Insurance representative. Hometown professionals at work for you.
Well, the Red Devils will play Connorsville in the first round of the sectional tournament. Before we get to that, let's talk about KOKOMO. Tell you what, I watched them. They struggled early, but now all of a sudden you get them right when they're starting to play better. They beat Harrison last week. Talk a little bit about what you see in the Wildcats.
Well, we have film on them from early on in the year, and obviously they started off slow. I think they started off maybe 0-3, 0-4. And now they're starting to roll. The running game's going well for them. They play really good defense. They're big up front. They've got a really good defensive line. They got some guys back from last year. They run to the football well defensively. Last week against Lafayette Harrison, which is a team that's gotten some votes in the polls, they outplayed Harrison, beat them 13-10. So they're playing extremely well right now. Last week they didn't have their quarterback. Not sure what that situation is, but they've got a good receiver, 2 to 3 really good running backs. They have a good offensive line, good defensive line, and that's kind of where high school football starts up front. And they've got those two things going for them, and they're playing well. They've got a lot of confidence coming into this game. It's the last game of the year heading into the tournament. Obviously, we, along with they, both want to be playing well heading into the tournament. So it's an important game for us, another long bus ride, but we're excited about the opportunity.
Coach, for so many years watching their offense, and it wasn't fun to watch. I mean, from a fan standpoint, but they won football games. What did they change now with the new head coach?
Well, it's a totally different offense. Last year it was an off-tackle, pitch the ball, quarterback lead up through, a power offense, off-tackle, and it got them all the way to the state championship. Obviously their former coach felt like that was their best way to be successful, run clock, take care of your defense and run the football off tackle. This year they've spread it out a little bit. They've got a really 2 to 3 really good receivers, running back that runs extremely hard. They'll get in some spread formations, some trips formations, and they, with the quarterback they've had most of the year, they'll throw the ball way downfield. They love to throw the long ball, and so we're going to have to prepare. The quarterback they had this past week is more of a runner, so we'll see who we get, but we're going to have to prepare for both.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, let me tell you what, we do now know how the tournament field's going to look for you guys. You're going to go back to Connorsville, coming up in the first week of the tournament. you and I have talked about this before. It's a different animal when you get into tournament play, and I can remember, and you probably have many memories too, Richmond one time just recently, they beat Anderson in the regular season, lose to them in the tournament. They beat Newcastle in the regular season badly, lose to them by 1 in the tournament. You've got to be ready to play when the tournament time rolls around.
As we told our kids on Saturday, it's the second season. Everybody's 0-0, and the teams that are playing their best are the ones that are going to advance. And, really us beating Connorsville earlier on in the year has no bearing on this game whatsoever. Our kids need to understand that. Our staff understands it. Our fans need to understand that. And obviously we have to have the mindset that it's going to be a totally different game. We have to go over there. We got to go on the road again. But we're playing better football, I feel like. I'm sure they're playing better football. Haven't seen recent film of them, but I'm sure we'll get 2 to 3 films from the recent games. So, I'm sure there's slightly a revenge factor coming back and playing them again. And it's tough to beat a team twice in the same season. So those things are all going against us, but our kids need to understand we're playing better football, and we need to go over and play the way we can, and not the first game has no bearing on this game.
Very true. And by the way, depending on, I know last week they only lost by 1, so again, it might be another team where you're going to catch them on the uprise again.
I think so. Most teams improve throughout the year, and obviously based on their scores, they're improving as well. So going to be a good game for us, and we're looking forward, as we told our kids, doesn't matter what you did in the regular season. This is the second season. This is where teams, there's a lot of upsets that happen in the tournament, and, let the best man win.
Yeah, and that first Friday is always upset Friday for sure.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Coach, good luck this week.
Thank you very much. Go Red Devils.
We will see you again on Friday. The Red Devils on the road at KOKOMO. All the action right here on Radio Troy Digital Sports.